The time when Huawei was making bad phones is long gone. And this time, with the P30 Pro, the company has proved exactly how capable they are to produce an excellent, if not the best phone of 2019 so far. Here's what we think about it. Another P series is here. This time, we have the Huawei P30 Pro, the successor to the last year's fantastic P20 Pro. At the time, it had the best cameras on the premium smartphone market, and the current flagship has remained consistent. As before, it is made of glass on both sides, while the frame is made of aluminum. The front panel also does not differ too much from the previous generation, except for the notch, which is significantly reduced and has a water drop design. Inside the notch there is a selfie camera, while the call speaker found its place below the screen itself. The fingerprint scanner is located beneath the display as well. The interesting thing on the back is the camera sensor, the square periscope sensor, which we did not see before, but more on that a little bit later. The P30 Pro comes in black, pearl white, aurora, amber sunrise, and is in our case breathing crystal, which is just gorgeous. Inside the factory box, there are user manuals, a SIM tray tool, 40-watt charging adapter, Type-C supercharge cable, as well as branded headphones. On the front side, the P30 Pro has a large 6.47-inch OLED display with 1080p resolution. On the edges, the screen is curved, and on the top there is a water drop type notch, which is a lot smaller compared to previous generations. We must say that we really like the smaller notch though. Another something that has changed is the number of pixels in the display. Mate 20 Pro had a bigger resolution, and the P20 Pro had a smaller display. As displays are becoming bigger and bigger though, the resolution shouldn't suffer. You will not see pixelization at all because 398 pixels per inch is plenty enough to make the content sharp, and the resolution is reduced to help battery autonomy. The P30 Pro has a great AMOLED display, but that's all we can say about it. It's only good enough. It still isn't on par with dynamic AMOLED displays we have in Samsung flagship, but still, it's better compared to what LCD panels offer. Both the P30 Pro and the P30 are powered by the Kirin 980, produced by Huawei themselves. This chipset is the first mobile chipset built on a 7nm process. This manufacturing process ensures higher speeds as well as lower battery consumption. It's not too much different compared to the Snapdragon 855 employed by other flagships. Kirin 980 is paired with 6GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage, or 8GB of RAM and 128, 256, or even 512GB of storage memory. The processor contains 8 CPU cores, 2 of which are clocked at 2.6 GHz, 2 on 1.92 GHz, and 4 power-saving cores are clocked at 1.8 GHz. Here, we don't have the old big little CPU architecture anymore, but rather the so-called Dynam IQ architecture, which allows all the cores to be combined into a single cluster. As a result, we get a phone that doesn't spend too much power when used for normal day-to-day tasks, but on the other hand, it's capable of maintaining high frame rate in very high demanding tasks, including gaming. This is proved by the Antutu benchmark test as well, where the phone scored more than 310,000 points. Sadly, this phone doesn't have a call speaker, which is why it cannot produce stereo sound. The main speaker is located on the bottom of the phone and it reproduces very rich tones which are, however, not particularly loud. The call speaker works by employing electromagnetic levitation, and it works really well. The issue here is that it is way too loud, so if you don't want others to eavesdrop on your calls, you'll have to crank the volume down. As we've said at the beginning, the fingerprint scanner is located beneath the display, and it's no better compared to the one we had in the Mate 20 Pro. The ultrasonic sensor built into the Samsung's S10 series does a faster and more precise job. Face unlock feature is here too, but it still isn't the most secure type of biometric protection. Being a 2019 flagship, the P30 Pro works on Android 9.0 Pie OS with Emotion 9.1 UI. Sometime in the future, Huawei might just build this UI as one high-profile company should. This time we received a new reading and writing system. Differences are very subtle, but still noticeable. Some other functions include GPU Turbo Mode 2.0, a password safe, or even a usage balancing app that limits the use of your phone. Even though we don't think it's a good idea to let the phone decide when to use it, this option might be useful for parents whose children spend a lot of time on the phone. A high-end primary camera is the signature of every new Huawei device, and is the case this time around as well. On the back there are 4 sensors: the main 40 megapixel sensor with an f1.8 aperture, a 20 megapixel ultra-wide f2.2 sensor, an 8 megapixel f2.4 optically stabilized periscope sensor that delivers 5x optical and 10x hybrid zoom, as well as a 3D time-of-flight sensor for collecting depth information. Photos made by the primary camera are stored in 10 megapixel resolution and not in 40 megapixel because the photos are captured using the quad-bayer system. If you wish to learn more about this system and how it works, feel free to visit the blog section of our webpage. Long story short, not too many phones can deliver such good photos as the P30 Pro, especially in night shots. Folded optics on this camera seem to defy physics, because they provide much longer equivalent focal length compared to what should be possible with standard camera orientation. Huawei P30 Pro offers 50 times digital zoom, which means that you can capture very good photos which even your eyes can't see. Exposition is excellent in all photos, even those made in extremely low light conditions, and the AI mode does a great job focusing primary subjects. We have to mention bokeh photos, which are simply remarkable. Thanks to the time-of-flight camera, the phone creates very detailed depth map, which results in excellent subject isolation. There's honestly nothing bad to say about this phone's camera, at least regarding the photo mode. Videos are also good with the focus on stabilization and focus. Noise isn't visible in well-lit environments, but becomes more noticeable in dark areas. The only thing that can be considered this phone's flaw is the lack of 4K 60fps video support, something offered by the competition but not yet by Huawei. On the front of the phone there's a single camera with 32 megapixel resolution and f2.0 aperture. It is hardly as impressive as the primary camera, but it's still good, even better than the previous generation's front-facing camera. Its biggest disadvantage is that it lacks autofocus, which makes the photos captured in low-light conditions be subpar for a phone in this price range. Huawei P30 Pro usually comes in a dual SIM version with a hybrid SIM card slot, even though there are single SIM versions out there as well. If you ever happen to need it, instead of the second SIM card, you can use the exclusive Huawei Nano memory card for storage expansions up to 256GB. On the bottom of the phone, there is a USB Type-C port for charging and data transfer. The phone doesn't have a 3.5mm port, not even dongle inside the factory box. There are Type-C headphones there though, but it seems that Huawei as well is turning towards wireless standards. The headphones are only average, they are not too loud, but the sound quality is good, just as the main speaker. This is another field in which this phone excels, just as its predecessors. We are still trying to figure out what has left a better impression on us, battery autonomy or extremely quick charging. Battery with the capacity of 4200 mAh is implemented into this phone's chassis, and it's easily capable of lasting a day or two depending on the type of user you are, with around 10 hours of screen on time. This phone's fast charging system has the power of 40 watts, and for only 30 minutes it charges the phone up to 70%, and it takes another 30 minutes to charge it up fully. Reversible wireless charging is still supported, and using it, you can directly charge up your gadgets by simply laying them on the back of the phone. This depletes the battery of the phone quite quickly though. At the end, we can say that Huawei grabs the attention of users with its cameras, and it's the case with this phone as well. Many brands will be envious of the capabilities of this phone. It really does have the best camera out there. In other areas, it showed to be really good as well, but we do consider it a disadvantage that it doesn't have autofocus on the front camera or 4K 60fps video recording. We think that Huawei P30 Pro will be the best smartphone on the market for quite some time. So, what do you think about the Huawei P30 Pro? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let us know your opinion in the comment section below. If you have any suggestions or you would like us to review any other device, Feel free to let us know again either here or on our Facebook page. If you like this review, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook and Instagram, follow us on Twitter, sit back and relax as we're working hard on new material for you.